Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today, trying a beer I'm really excited about trying that I got from Beerdome. So thanks to Beerdome for the beer. Link for the shop is down below. It's a fantastic Dutch web shop that's been supplying me with many great beers over the years. They have one of the best selections of beer in Europe. So check them out. Link for the shop is down below. So this is quite a legendary collab. This is a collab between Omnipollo and Närke Tårt-Kaggen in Sweden, and this is their Tårt-Kaggen. So Kaggen almost needs no introduction. Kaggen is one of the original, legendary beers of not just Scandinavia, but actually also Europe and the world. Back in the day when beer was young, craft beer was young, when I was a very young beer geek myself, this was one of those beers you heard whispers of. Not this one, but the original, the Kaggen Stormaktsporter. Whispers of this beer. It was legendary. It was super sought after, highly rated. That it was beers like that. It was beers like Dark Lord from Three Floyds and quite some dark, Bourbon County variants. It's very much a smaller niche than it is today. And back then, this was one of those beers you really wanted to try, but they were impossible to get. And that was before I really did a lot of trading. I just remember seeing this on the top of Rate Beers list. I was like, I wanted to try that. But I've been very, very blessed and lucky to try quite a few variants in later years of Kaggen because of my subscriber, Johan in Sweden. Johan has sent so many different vintages of this beer that I've been happy to share with my father, who also loves porters and stouts. We've always had a great time sharing some of these beers. And I remember the first time when we tried Stormaktsporter, we were just loving it. It was world class. It was amazing. And then there's been so many variants. We've reviewed some together. We've reviewed some. I've just reviewed them some with other friends or on my own. I've tried quite a few variants, and it's a fantastic beer. And it's like a very big piece of Swedish beer history. I think for these beer geeks, the beer that put Närke on the map. There's a lot of people that probably know Närke as locals and who likes a lot of their other beers, but a lot of people knew them for this beer. But Närke makes amazing beers. They're a very traditional brewery. They make a very, very big set of classic beers, but they do them really well and do them right. And I've been lucky enough to try quite a few, and I think they're just awesome. So I'm really stoked to be trying this one. And what's funny is Närke has been a very big brewery for Henok from Omnipollo as well. So when he was a beer geek, baby beer geek before doing Omnipollo and all this, he even helped label one of the batches of this beer apparently, which is so funny. So he finally got to brew with them and actually do a variation of this beer with Närke, which is insane. I think Beerdome and maybe a couple other people from the team went up there and brewed this beer together. And yeah, I think it's really cool. It's it's so interesting to follow Omnipollo at the moment because they're making a lot of collaborations. But it's funny to see because if you've ever talked to them, like Henok and Carl, like a lot of the brewers they're brewing they're getting to brew with now are people that inspired them in the past, which is insane. Like they did the collab with Brooklyn as well, which was really good, which was a spin on Brooklyn Black Ops. Like this whole thing is so cool. Must be very much a full circle experience. So this is funny because this is like such a classic porter. It's just conditioned in steel tanks usually and then aged in some kind of barrel for some months. Often it's been bourbon, but they've used so many. There's cognac, there's there's like many different varieties of this beer. But this is of course been Omnipollo-ified a little bit. So this is a Kaggen called Tårt-Kaggen, which means cake Kaggen. And this is an Imperial Porter with heather honey, which is the regular Kaggen, that's been aged in bourbon barrels. But it has a respectful pastry edition a la Omnipollo, which it had to have, I guess, So it says 26.4 Plato, I'm guessing the original gravity, 13%, and then it says to please share this with some friends. So let's check it out. This will be really fun to try. I've been really excited about trying this one because, again, this is just such a legendary collab, and a legendary beer. So, pour is a pitch. Also, it looks like Kaggen, like that artwork. There you go. It's just Kaggen in the can. But yeah, pitch black color in the glass. Nice roasty looking tan head. Let's check out the aroma on Tårt-Kaggen. And thanks ton to Beerdome for the beer. Oh yeah, you can definitely smell it seems like blueberry like. There's something in there that reminds me a little bit of blueberry, but what's really shining is like roasted barley, which is really nice, and like nice whiffs of bourbon. It's not like the same modern, like really fat, rich barrel character. It's like a complement to the beer instead of being like a big thing. And that's some vintages had more bourbon, I think, than others of Kaggen, but often it's been like more like this nice nuance in the beer, whereas instead of like this all-encompassing thing, which is how it is often with modern beer. But it smells quite nice. I think there's some coconut in here. There's definitely also some coconutty vibes, and coffee, chocolate. The blueberry note just is gone instantly now. I don't know what that was. Could also be like a fruitiness. I think there might be some coconut in this. There's almost some notes that reminds me a bit of like coconut, chocolate, kind of coffee macaroons or something like, not macaroons, that's not what they're called. A macaroon in Danish is a chocolate cake where it's like desiccated coconut and then is like caramelized, and then you can have like chocolate dipped over it. It smells like that a little bit, but it still smells like a porter or a stout. Like it has like a roasty profile, a toasty profile, a charry profile, and then some fruitiness. It smells really good. And the honey in there usually will just offer some dryness, but right now I'm actually mostly getting like that like coconutty vibe, and with like nice soft touches of bourbon. Let's try it. Cheers. Thanks to Beerdome for the beer. So you can totally see Kaggen in this. You can totally, like, this drink's very, 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 very different from classic Omnipollo beers. Like, Omnipollo is much more, like rich, sweet, crazy on all these kind of parameters. This feels so vastly different to classic Omnipollo beers. It is definitely Närke first, Omnipollo second, which is really cool, I think. That's how you should wrangle a collab like this. It should feel like a Kaggen, and it sure does. I love that roasted malt profile on it. There's a really nice high roast profile, and then you find flavors you never expect to find in Kaggen. Lots of coconut. I'm getting a lot of coconut. I don't know why I talked about blueberry before. I'm not getting a lot of that at the moment, but it's like very nice toasty coconutty vibes. Hint of vanilla. A bit of warmth from, I'm guessing, just alcohol in the beer, but also barrel. It's like really old money meets new money. Like there's a lot of like charry or woody flavors, roasty, slightly ashy notes. Maybe not ashy, maybe more burnt, toasty notes, burnt maltiness, paired with like this adjunct treatment, which seems so much like Omnipollo. But also for a split sec, I was like, I'm getting a honey note, which is interesting because often with honey, it will be completely fermented out. It depends on how you add it, I guess, and if you pasteurize and all kinds of things, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting some honey. Like, this is really fun. Like, the fact that they're doing this is all these, like, kind of legendary collabs are so cool. Like, I think for a new money beer geek, a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, it's a little too thin. It's too roasty. It's got too much bitterness, all this. Like, it's definitely got more roast and bitterness than what people are used to these days. But everything is well balanced. Everything is well balanced and well intertwined. And then it just has, like, something really modern, which is that coconut flavor. Which is actually quite apparent, I think, especially in a beer like this. Like you can definitely feel it's like drier and not like as rich as a lot of modern stout, but it's not like it's not like it lacks body or anything. It's just like it just really feels like two different periods of beer like clashing together, which is really fun. Like you can really see both breweries in this. And it really drinks like a pastry version of Kaggen, which is really fun. Like, it's something you never thought would happen, but it happened. A pastry Kaggen. a Tårt-Kaggen. I really like that charry, roasty flavor on the back end. Like it's really charry, and I think there's like the barrel character on it is mostly like charry, bourbony notes, and I think it's because the base is quite roasted, so that amplifies that. But there is a little bit of like a sweet vanilla note on the back as well, like just lightly. It's such a nice imperial porter with like barrel character and a touch of pastry flair. Like this will never be too pastry for most people. I think people who even think pastry fine beers are too much would like this because it's just nice acids of coconut that's there. It's not like just super intense, like pure milky coconut or like Danish dream cake top kind of coconut vibes. It's just like this nice coconut flavor on top of a really robust roasty porter. There's also definitely some coffee vibes. Also like muscovado sugar or something. Maybe even like slightly leathery notes. It's almost like it's just taking me back to the fucking old days of craft beer. What I think is important about this beer, because Kaggen is such a historic beer, especially in Sweden, is that this still tastes like a Kaggen variant. It's not. It doesn't drink like just a crazy Omnipollo beer. It drinks like a Kaggen, but where Omnipollo was involved, and that's how it should be done. So yeah, really fucking great beer. I'm debating a 94 or a 95, small 95, because I really like these gentle touches of coconut to it. It really plays well with Kaggen. It's a very different version of Kaggen because of those pastry notes, but it's still like done so well. So, and I don't think it's as good as like when I've had the best experience of Kaggen. It's been with my dad actually, and it's been when we've had it and hung out and we've had like some of the really classic barrel-aged Kaggens. I think they've been better, but I still think this merits like either a massive 94 or a small 95. We'll see when the review is over. I'll put it down below in the description of the final grade, but it's either of the two. And like if you're a beer geek and you were big into trading and all this back in the day, you just need to get this. Like this is a pretty legendary collab, at least in my book. So yeah, nice stuff. It's a great collab that really shows both breweries, but it's all about what it's inspired by. So if you guys had a chance to try Tårt-Kaggen from Omnipollo and Närke Kulturbryggeri, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a ton to Beerdome for the beer, and as always, remember to comment, subscribe to the Facebook fan page, and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm gonna say cheers in some pastry-fied barrel-aged smoked porter, or not smoked, Imperial porter, and see you guys in another beer review.